All right, this is Damn, I Wish I'd Planted That. It's the part of the show where we talk about a plant that's doing really well in our gardens for right now. And it may be something that you see in somebody else's garden and think, oh, I've got a hole in my garden right now and I could use that. And damn, I wish I'd planted that. So we're giving that to you for July. Where are we? The 26th? Late July. Yes. So late July, what you got, Les?
I am so excited. I inherited more stone things. When I moved to this garden, there were some fabulous but cramped stone containers that sit on top of this retaining wall. And I have been really unsuccessful in planting anything that wants to stay alive because there's just no room for roots. But this year I went with sedum, and in the round ones, so it's, the container is probably 10 inches tall and maybe 8 inches across, but it's thick cement. So really very little room for roots. And I found these fabulous purple sedums when I was down in Wilmington with my friend Liz Paulson speaking to the Brunswick Garden Club. And what I got was Sedum Plum Dazzled. This is from the Sun Sparkler series, bred by a guy named Chris Hansen. Okay. Do you know the series?
Yes. Very good series. Very good breeder. Okay. Yes. He also did Chick Charms.
Oh, a couple of others in this particular series are Lime Twister, Blue Elf, and Jade Tuffet. So clearly he or somebody on his team is enjoying picking out these names. But when I bought this, it was kind of bluish gray foliage, kind of turning purple. Now it's a deep purple. It is loving life in this tiny container and spilling out the sides. It looks like a great hairdo. I guess it's going to have magenta flowers in the fall or at the end of the summer, because I saw photographs of that to come. And that'll be great, but I'm more excited by the look and the success of this plant that I don't get to water very much, and it's going to sit in a very hot container, and it is very, very happy. So, yes, that is what I like. Sedum Plum Dazzled.
I don't think I have that plant, but boy, I'm a big fan of. I mean, we did a sedum for last time's. Damn, I wish I planted that, and that's what they're good at, just taking all the abuse you can keep on them and continuing to come back, right?
Exactly. They're okay to cook.
All right. So mine is on the opposite of Leslie's. It's Colocasia Morning Dew, the elephant ear, which loves water, loves feeding. So just basically the anti-Leslie plant on this one. But this is a cultivar that I have adored, continue to adore for many, many years. Used to be sold by Plants Delight, and it's still available. It is a Colocasia elephant ear, and it's Colocasia esculenta, and it stands about 4 feet tall. It has reptilian petioles. The sort of stems that come up out of the ground are sort of a base creamy color with a green moving through them like reptilian skin. They're absolutely gorgeous. And then the leaves are mottled with sort of a lemon green random pattern. So if you know mojito, which has splotches of purple in there, this is the same sort of thing, but the splotches are yellow and green. It's not lines of variegation, but just beautiful splotches. And I've worked with a lot of Colocasia over the last few years, and this one just hangs on. This is one that I don't want to ever lose. It's that good of a plant, and it can be grown in the water in very shallow water feature, or you can grow it outside of a pond or just in the garden proper, just making sure that it has sort of moisture retentive soil. Doesn't have to be boggy, but you don't want it to dry out. Zone 7B to 10B, this is one I have to dig. It has to come back in, and it's a testament to how good it is that I keep digging it.
Sounds like a good one.